With the government currently reviewing the BBC Royal Charter, the agreement that recognises its editorial independence and public obligations, a panel of guests including former BBC Chief Creative Officer Patrick Young, former editor of Newsnight Sian Kevill, and editor of RB Mike Flood-Page gathered to speak at Goldsmiths. A packed lecture hall heard how the panellists believe the BBC could and should move forward in the next decade.
I want it to be well-resourced, I want it to be truly independent, I want it to have cracked within 10 years the subscription conundrum or its funding conundrum, because I don't think you can carry on with the licence fee for another beyond 10 years. Where do I think it will be? I think it's got a very good chance of getting there.
Flood-Page was not so optimistic.
Well, I would want it to be independent, I would want it to be strong, I would want it to be in a position to extend its reach wherever the audience and the public want it. And I would want it to be able to continue to do what it's doing now very well. What I fear is that if this government gets its head, it'll be in trouble.
The panel then moved on to a Q&A with the audience, who focused on where the BBC should get its funding and how important it is to remain impartial.
Overall, I think that what the panel said probably seemed to surprise quite a number of certainly the foreign students, overseas students, and even some of the questions of the British students seemed to suggest that they hadn't really thought a great deal about this.
It's all smiles at the moment, but with the BBC under increasing pressure from the government and other areas of the media, we will have to wait and see how this charge for review affects the BBC's operations.